Okay, let's dive into this explainer and ask a genuinely serious question. Is that tiny, purring predator currently napping in your house actually an evolutionary mastermind? Today, we're going to strip away all our usual assumptions and look purely at the biological evidence to answer one incredibly provocative question. Who is really running the show?
We all know this feeling, right? The universal experience of being voluntarily immobilized by a 4-kilogram animal. I mean, you could remove it easily, but you aren't going to because it's purring, and disturbing it just feels, well, wrong. This everyday reality, which is happening in hundreds of millions of households right at this very second, perfectly frames a massive biological mystery. How exactly has this tiny creature created a situation where a much, much larger species completely subordinates its own comfort on its behalf?
So let's kick things off with part one, the domestication myth. Let's look at the standard account of history, the one that confidently assumes we humans were the ones in charge. Picture this. Roughly 10,000 years ago, human agriculture created these massive grain stores. Those stores obviously attracted rodents, which in turn attracted wild cats. Now, the traditional story goes that humans made a calculated, practical decision to utilize these cats for pest control. But notice how passive the cats supposedly are in this whole narrative. In this version of events, humans are the agents making all the big decisions, and the cats are just the subjects. But if we look at the actual biology, it tells a very, very different story. Here is the crucial catch. True biological domestication requires humans to actively reshape a species genetically through selective breeding to make them more manageable or useful. And this completely flips the script when we look at our feline friends, because if you apply this strict biological definition, cats are barely domesticated at all. This brilliantly illustrates the biological reality. Just think about dogs for a second. They've been completely reshaped by human selection over tens of thousands of years, to the point where a domestic dog and a wild wolf are completely different animals in behavior, physiology, and cognition. But a domestic cat? Its genetic distance from its wild ancestor, Felis libica, is remarkably small. Aside from a few slight variations in coat color and slightly reduced fear responses, their fundamental biology is essentially unchanged. You see, cats weren't reshaped by us. They simply colonized our resource-rich environments and made themselves at home. Which brings us right into part two, a strange kind of colonization. Now that we know cats basically colonized us, let's tally up this bizarre cross-species arrangement. On our side of the ledger, humans provide food, weatherproof shelter, expensive veterinary care that extends their lives by years, and complete protection from outdoor hazards. And in exchange, what exactly does the cat provide? Well, historically, unmanaged rodent control, which, by the way, required zero human training. The cat just hunted because that's just what cats do. Today, in modern households where rodent control isn't even a thing, they contribute exactly zero economically, offering companionship strictly on their own terms. It is a wildly lopsided deal. We pour immense labor and literal billions of dollars into an animal that simply exploits its own natural behaviors, entirely for self-interest. So, part three. The biology of manipulation. How exactly did a 4-kilogram predator secure this incredibly luxurious deal from highly rational humans? The answer lies in functional manipulation. We're not talking about conscious, evil genius planning here, but rather a powerful arsenal of evolved behaviors specifically calibrated over thousands of years to infiltrate human parental instinct systems. Humans are hardwired to respond to specific stimuli. And cats, well, they've essentially hacked that system. Let's look at the classic meow first. Did you know that adult wild cats do not actually meow at each other? It's true. This is a highly specialized human-targeted vocalization. Research actually shows that domestic cat meows and solicitation purrs contain acoustic components in the exact frequency range of human infant distress cries. It's a biological frequency that our human auditory systems are totally tuned to respond to with immediate attention and concern. They use this sound because it makes their demands virtually impossible for our human brains to ignore. And then there's the purr, 25 to 150 hertz. This isn't just some arbitrary, cute sound. It is a highly targeted physical frequency. Medical research on therapeutic vibration in humans has found that frequencies sitting precisely in this range can actually promote bone density, reduce swelling, and accelerate soft tissue healing. So when a cat sits on your chest and purrs, it's quite literally giving your nervous system a biological massage that completely bypasses your rational mind. All right, part four, the physiological payoff. Now, to be fair, this arrangement isn't entirely a one-way street. Operating totally under the radar, cats actively contribute to human health. Multiple studies show that interacting with cats produces highly measurable physiological outcomes in humans. We're talking significant reductions in blood pressure, lowered resting heart rates, and serious drops in cortisol, which is our primary stress hormone. There's even research linking cat cohabitation to reduced cardiovascular disease risk. So they provide us with complex physiological benefits and social connection, completely sidestepping the exhausting social anxieties and demands of actual human interaction.
Let's move on to part 5, dogs versus cats.
To really fully grasp how unique this biological heist is, just compare it to the dog. While a dog deeply, eagerly desires to fit into your social schedule, a cat's attachment style is vastly different. Research shows that while cats do form secure attachments to us, it's much more resource and provider-based. A dog wants mutual social interaction and experiences deep distress upon separation. But a cat? It dictates the terms, strictly. It approaches on its own schedule, in its preferred manner, and withdraws exactly when its preferences are met. This huge asymmetry of control, where the cat determines the relationship terms while the human eagerly accommodates them, is the ultimate evidence of reverse domestication.
Which brings us to part 6, the feline takeover.
When you step back and look at the sheer scale of how humans modify their behavior for cats, it's honestly mind-boggling. Over $100 billion. That is the annual valuation of the global pet care industry. Premium food, expensive veterinary care, heated beds, giant indoor carpeted trees. We are freely redirecting massive amounts of wealth toward an animal that simply hacked our parental instincts with a rounded face and a specific meow. It represents a massive financial investment that completely defies all our rational economic instincts. And, this isn't a new phenomenon at all. It's a deep cultural, revealed preference spanning thousands of years. From the Egyptian goddess Bastet to the Norse goddess Freya, whose chariot was famously pulled by giant cats, all the way to the Prophet Muhammad's deep affection for his cat. And just look at modern history. When humans were given the blank canvas of global internet technology with unlimited options for content, what did we immediately fill it with? Cats. It's completely absurd when you stop and think about it. But this absolute dominance just proves their profound, enduring hold on human psychology. Ultimately, you have to stop and ask yourself this question. Did cats selectively breed humans? Well, no. But did cats systematically modify human behavior to benefit themselves at a significant cost to us? The biological and economic evidence absolutely says yes. Every great domestication produces an animal better adapted to the human environment, and a human who is organized around providing resources to that animal. Both are undeniably true here. So who is the real master here? That 4-kilogram predator is still sitting on your chest. You could easily move it, but you won't. As you lay there trapped beneath a tiny, purring machine that has completely captured your evolutionary biology, ask yourself, did you adopt a pet? Or did you just get successfully colonized? Thanks for watching this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.